The purpose of this video is to provide an overview of available resources and information, which will provide you with support and assistance throughout your transition. Facing change can be difficult because it starts with a sense of loss. However, understanding the process can help you move on with your life.
Everybody goes through the same stages. Some people may go through it in 20 minutes. Some people may take years to go through it. What we hope is that we can help you get through it faster and sooner.
The first stage is very easy. It's denial. You want to deny that this happened. You're going to wake up tomorrow and feel like this is going to go away. You feel like it's a dream. So you really feel like it's a long nightmare, that at some point you're going to wake up and things will go back to normal.
The second stage is going, well, yeah, they're closing, but it's not going to affect me, but I know how to get a job, but I can't go into training. I haven't been in school for 20 years. I hated it 20 years ago. I don't want to sit with all those young kids who can read faster than I can. That's the resistance.
The next stage is what we call exploration, when you start to explore what could be next for me. What can I do next? Maybe I want to go back to school to be a truck driver. Maybe I want to be a welder. Maybe I want to go back to be a pharmacy technician. Or maybe I just want to get a part-time job until I retire. Or maybe I'm looking at just upping my skills in a basic way.
Is just go and check it out. You don't have to do it, you don't have to like it, but you might find something that you really do like. Jobs are tough. This is a tough job market. And new kinds of employment may be the real answer. And the new kinds of employment are going to require training. So all the green jobs that they talk about, that's going to require retraining. It's very exciting when people do go into retraining and discover that it's a whole new world and they love it. And that's the last stage of the change process.
One of the pitfalls of being unemployed is you're isolated. Before you used to go to work, you had a community there. So support services creates a community where people who are in the same situation and you creates a community of support. We know that everyone in your life, your family and close friends, know you're looking for work, and they've already heard it maybe, or you don't want to burden them. This is a place you can call, not only to get immediate feedback from someone who's impartial, right? Someone who's going to be supportive. You can also get resources.
Hi, so thank you for calling.
Where are the job fairs? Where can I talk to somebody about my health insurance? How can I get help with my resume writing? We'll have all that information. So we have both practical resources to help you and also just a unconditional positive regard, which means we're not going to be judging you because we know you're already judging yourself.
The services that we provide is to help people figure out, whether it be because of a loss of a job or any other situation where there's some sort of a financial stress going on, what is the best course of action, and provide counseling in that regard. I would recommend that first thing you want to do is put together a budget. You want to figure out, how am I going to manage financially? Once you get laid off, you know what your resources are going to be. You know how much unemployment's going to give you. You also know what your resources are going to be in terms of any unpaid pay, such as unused vacation or bonus income, and you can spread that out and put together a budget. And that's the first thing you want to do. The last thing you don't want to do is nothing. You don't want to think, okay, when I get another job, I'll get caught up because I can't pay all these bills. You don't want to have a negative impact on your credit report, because many employers do use credit, and they are allowed to ask permission to look at your credit report as part of their screening process. It's absolutely imperative that you keep the family involved. Any kind of budget, regardless of the purpose of it, will not work unless everyone in the family is on board. Certainly, if you have reduced income, you may not have the ability to make full payments. And that's where you want to get on the phone with creditors and try to negotiate. And you can negotiate reduced payments. Not every creditor is exactly alike. Not all of them are as generous. But the point is that creditors recognize in this economy, there are a lot of people out of work. And they would like to do what they can in order for some payment to be made on the debt that they have rather than no payment at all. Then go and look at what are your priorities. Certainly your housing, groceries, you have a family to feed, also transportation, you have to get out and look for work. And then look at some of the other expenses such as credit card payments. You know, those are not the top priority, but you certainly don't want to ignore them. So prioritize your expenses. Look to see where can you cut expenses. I mean, certainly variable expenses like groceries, you don't spend the same amount every month, you know, every time you go to the grocery store, and you have more power to control those expenses. So if the budget is tight, those are the areas where you want to look at cutting back. Now, if you have money left over because there's other members in the family working, you definitely want to fund an emergency plan. In today's economy, the general rule of thumb is 6 months to 12 months of take-home pay, and around 8 months is, of course, is about the average. But you definitely want to plan and start funding an emergency savings plan when you're able to. In order to make an appointment to speak to a credit counselor, you can call the toll-free number, which is 866-515-2227, and you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And using credit counseling, it's a free service. That's an opportunity, and definitely take advantage of those free opportunities because it can certainly strengthen your individual financial picture.
COBRA in itself is not a health insurance plan. It's important for them to understand that COBRA is a law that says they have the right to continue paying for their health coverage, that just like their employer was paying for them while they were fully employed. Now, it's an option. They can opt into COBRA or they can opt out of COBRA, and they will have 60 days to decide. Their health plan provider will send them a COBRA letter that will list out all the costs of their health coverage in that letter, and they can choose one or all of those options. If you have a pre-existing condition, and that can be any condition, asthma, cancer, pregnancy, high cholesterol, anything that requires ongoing medical attention, you may need to choose COBRA because that's the only way to keep that condition covered. Unless you're covered with health benefits under a group plan, pre-existing condition may not be covered. You want to check that out and be careful about that. You should take that COBRA letter and go shopping. There may be low-cost options that you're not thinking about. Think of healthcare as a product. You want to go shopping and see what other health providers have out there. There's a lot of individual plans out there or family plans that may be a lot less expensive for you. If you have children ages 1 through their 19th birthday, you want to look into California's Healthy Children's Program. It's based on a sliding scale of income, not the money that you have in the bank, but the income that you have, and your unemployment check is your income right now. So whatever that income is will be what your premium costs you for the children. But it's a very cost-effective way to keep the children covered.
I think one of the most important messages that we would like to get out from all of the one-stops is that there are quality people that really want to help out individuals make that transition back into the job market. All one-stops are really a combination of several partners that are all working together to try and provide as many services as we possibly can to anyone that walks through our doors. We have various workshops that can assist people. For example, some of the ones that we have are interviewing workshops for people that may have not been out on interviews for the last 3 to maybe even 15 years, which gives people confidence when they do go out for those interviews and knowing exactly the types of questions that they will be asked, so they're not thrown or anything like this. Many people just like to come in and say, can someone look over my resume? I just need some fresh eyes that can look at it from the perspective of the employer. Employers will call us and they will say, for example, Pat, I have a job that needs to be filled. This is what I'm looking for. I try to obtain as much information from the employer that I can get so I can convey what the employer is looking for, what kind of positions they're trying to fill, if it's part-time, if it's full-time, are there benefits involved, and everything else then too. So on a regular basis, all of the one-stops will have actual live employers here that are talking to individuals and actually doing many interviewing sessions with them. It's so much more productive for people to have contact with a live employer than necessarily just always sending their resumes through the internet and never hearing anything from the employers. What I would recommend to people is give us a call or come on down. And then we can walk them through and tell them about the various services that will be available to them. And people are doing that. And they find, because they're scared right now, that if they can at least sit down and talk to a live person and let them know that, you know, there's opportunities that are out there. And don't think that this is the end of your working life. Actually, it's probably the real beginning.
For other One Stop Career Center locations and further information, go to www.eastbayworks.com or www.servicelocator.org or call 1-888-411-4473.